My little brother, which is not from my dad and mom, he's from my stepdad, cold-heartedly told me, you took both your parents out.
Wow. How did that make you feel at the time? Cut deep.
Every single day I think about it.
Okay, Kloo, where you from and how old are you?
I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm 44 years old.
44. Okay.
Born in 81, baby.
Hmm. How long you been down here?
So I've been in Fort Lauderdale since August of last year, but I've been in Florida since I was 3.
Okay.
I was raised in Florida City. I was there until 2007. I moved up to an area in Miami called Wynwood, Alapata. I lived there until 2024.
Okay.
And then I moved up here to Fort Lauderdale, like I said, in August of last year.
Okay. Okay,
So I've been
nice.
here about 10 months.
Good, good. And how are you enjoying it so far?
It's different. I'm still a tourist. I'm not a resident quite yet.
How's the area treating you?
Wonderful.
Good. Good to
Got my
hear that.
respect.
Good to hear that. Kloo, did you grow up with both of your parents?
My parents, they were together until my father passed away when I was 3.5.
Okay.
And then my mom remarried when I was 9. And my stepfather was in my life until probably about 14 or 15. He's still alive. But my mom passed away in 2010. So I don't have, both my parents are deceased.
Sorry to hear that.
It's all right.
How did she pass away?
Um, there's people that have addictions to drugs. But my mother was addicted to Pepsi. And her body shut down. It went septic. And the culprit of her death on her death certificate is dark caffeinated beverages.
Mm,
So the addiction to Pepsi killed her, literally.
wow. Sorry to hear that. How was your relationship with her growing up?
Um, I don't know that she knew how to be a mother. She did her best. Um, when I became a teenager, I tried to understand her position, but it was really hard for me to understand it because even though she was present, she was mentally and emotionally and physically absent. And it had a lot to do with my position as her daughter and my father's passing. Even though I was 3.5, um, I helped him to take his life, not understanding the full capacity of what was happening. And my mother kind of like shut me out and like resented me because of that, even though she didn't say it. I felt it.
That's a heavy burden to carry. Why do you feel at such a young age you were responsible for a grown man's death?
My dad was addicted to heroin and he was a schizophrenic. And he taught me how to cook his drug because his hands were very shaky and he was missing a finger. And I used to put the stopper so his vein could pop out, and I used to inject it in him. I used to fill the needle and I used to inject it in him. And I used to love to see him pass out because I felt like he was at peace when that would happen. And my mom would be telling him, don't make her do that. And he'll be like, don't worry about what your mom's saying. Listen to me. Listen to Poppy. And that was always his saying to me. And the day prior to his passing, he beat up my mom and my brother and made me watch. And he would always make me sit and watch. And my mom would beg him to let me leave, and he would say, no, you sit right there because I don't want you to ever accept this treatment. I am doing this because I'm not well, and unfortunately your mom is my lamb. And I didn't understand that term either. Sometimes he would knock her out and he would feel bad about it, and he'd go and dope up, and my mom would be so happy when he would nod off because then that meant there was some peace for us. When he wouldn't have his drug, he would have his schizophrenic episodes, and we would be hiding from Charlie because he was in the Navy. I don't know who Charlie was or anything, but he went to Vietnam, and he went to Vietnam when he was 16, saying he was 18. And whatever he suffered there, he had it with him from there on out. And he would make me hide with him under the table. He would tell my mom to be quiet, but not so nicely. And my mom would beg him to stop, and he couldn't. He was so scared.
So Charlie was like an alter ego?
Charlie was...
Split personalities.
Charlie was the enemy. That's what the United States military combats called the enemy, Charlie.
Okay.
And I didn't understand none of it. I don't know who Charlie was. And he would tell my mom to shut up, like she's going to get us caught up. And my guess is that he was always hiding, always, that's how he survived. And I got to understand it later, but my dad was very disturbed, and he knew that he wasn't going to get better. And I think he was tired of making everyone suffer. And I think my mom had a little bit of like a jealousy towards me because he treated me like royalty. But the day before his passing, he beat the crap out of them. I mean, he made both of my mom's eyes puff out, like her whole face was bad. And he was like, they call me Cloti at home. My middle name is Clotilde. They'd be like, Cloti, I need you to help me get somewhere fast, and you can't come with me. And I went everywhere with him, and I'm like, but why? I want to go with you. And he's like, what you have to do is take care of your brother and your mom. And she's like, please don't make her do that. He's like, shh, don't listen to your mother. Listen to me. And usually we would like fill the syringe about a third of the way. And I like if you divide it in three, it was probably like 1.5 inches. But he told me he wanted me to fill it up completely and tie the thing real tight and inject it real fast, as fast as I could. And I was so happy about it.
You were young.
He set me up. He died right away. And his skin color was a little bit lighter than yours, and he turned like moss green. And my mom, like, he was on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, and he hit the sink, and he didn't even bleed. Because if your blood is pumping, it'll splatter, but he didn't even like bleed. It just like gashed his head on the side. His eyes were open. And my mom laid him on the ground and screamed to my grandma in Spanish to come get me and take me out of there because the fire rescue was going to come and they were going to have to call the cops. And I didn't understand that either. It was like 6:30 in the morning. And my grandma took me to my cousin's house, which was like a couple blocks away, and explained to my uncle what happened, like discreetly. And then my uncle explained to my cousin that she couldn't go to school. She was 16 and she was getting ready for high school because they started like at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
And I could just tell by the look in her eyes that it was like really, really bad. And I stayed with them for like a year. I didn't see my mom at all, my brother. My grandma would come every day and see me. My mom didn't want to see me. And then I started school like pre-K, and I didn't even know my name. Like they were calling my name, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, is that your name? And I'm like, I don't know that name. I go by this name. And they're like, oh, that's your middle name, but this is your name. And I said, that's not my name. I don't know. That's not what my dad calls me. And my mom kind of got in trouble because they were like trying to figure out like, why is this child like lost like this? So I went back home and it was just very silent on her part. Like she never kissed me or hugged me. I always wanted to be with her and she didn't want to be with me.
She showed you no affection at all?
She treated my brother very different. I always wanted to go with her out like to the store and she would not let me. I would cry because my dad would take me everywhere. And then because my dad was a veteran, she was paid a good amount of money. And she bought a yellow Corvette, a 79 Stingray yellow Corvette. And that was a 2-seater. So it was like, there was no room for me. More so than anything. And I was like, I could sit in the back. It was like, it was a space, but it wasn't a trunk. And when I would go in there, it would be so hot and I would fold up. And she wouldn't talk to me or anything, but I was just glad that I was like with her. And then she got with this guy that was a dope dealer. And he took advantage of me, my brother, and my cousin. And, that was a very traumatic experience. And she was very upset that something was said in regards to that. I don't know that she knew. I don't know.
What age were you at the time?
About 5. And he was doing sexual, unsaid, gross, demonic things to us. And my cousin ended up saying something to her dad, and that's the only reason why it stopped. But she was mad at us because that was her financial support, or whatever it was that was going on, and we messed that up. And again, I messed that up. So it was like layers of me being the culprit to unsuccessful relationships or whatever. And I left for another like few months. And it was a physically healing process. It was not something that should have been done to a child. And HRS, which that's what they called it at the time, got involved. And I really don't know what came of it, but I didn't really get any like therapy or anything for that, and I didn't get spoken to or none of that. I just kind of like winged it. But everybody in my family knew.
HRS was like CPS back in the days, right?
And I think I went back home around 7. I was probably like in 2nd grade by this time. And me and my brother became really close. He was 3 years older than me. But in between, my brother always took like the hat of a parent, even though he was a child too. And he taught me how to write, color, read, and believe it or not, he's dyslexic. I taught him how to tie his shoes because I was kind of ahead like there, but he was my best support system, and my grandmother, my mom's mom. So my relationship with my mom was different, I guess. I don't know. I that's one thing I do envy when I see people that have both parents or they have like a loving relationship with their mom.
Something you always wanted.
But my mom acknowledged me when I became a parent. I became a parent at 21. I had my first child. She's 24 today. And my mom told me, she goes, "You're 100 times better than I could have ever been for you. And I'm so proud that I can't even explain to you in words." My mom ended up winning a trip to Cancun, Mexico, to the Marriott for 3 days, well, for 3 nights and 4 days. Because she worked at a gas station. She won Supervisor of the Year. And I think her way of acknowledging me or letting me know that I was important and that I was to be recognized, she took me with her and my kid. And that was a really good experience. I was able to smoke with her, which I never did. We got drunk together. We talked a lot. We broke barriers, but we never talked about those significant things. But I did tell her, "Mom, I'm so sorry that you had to suffer the way you did." And she told me, she goes, "I was built for this." And now I understand that term. But I don't think she deserved any of that. And I forgive her, and I told her, "I forgive you." And when she was dying, I spoke to her a lot more because she was in a medically induced coma, and she was in a coma for a month. And I was the one that had to decide to take her off of life support because everybody else was in their emotion, and I was with logic. And I said, "I don't want her to suffer because if she even gets out of this, she's going to be vegetative, and she doesn't want to be this way." And I would talk to her, and her brothers would get upset. They didn't even want to tell my grandma that she was dying. My grandma would ask me every day, "What's going on with your mom? What's going on with your mom?" And like a week in, I said, "Listen, my mom's dying. Like, I know it's your kid, but she's dying." And she's like, how you gonna say that? Why don't you have hope?" I said, "Because I know. I feel it. Every day she looks, death is in her face." And I would tell her something, and she go, and I'm like, "Mom, you heard me?" And they'll be like, "Stop doing that. You're stressing her out." But if you look at her heart monitor, it was going like fast. Besides those moments when she would like respond to me. And my brothers, both of them resent me for that shit. They resent me for that because they're like, "Why'd you give up?" I said, "I didn't give up. I came to terms with what it was." And my little brother, which is not from my dad and mom, he's from my stepdad, cold-heartedly told me, "You took both your parents out."
Wow. How did that make you feel at the time? Cut deep.
Every single day I think about it. Every single day. I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. And I can't stop thinking about it. My dad had 4 kids before he got with my mom and had me and my brother. And my sister, I went to visit her in 2020. This is the year that my husband passed away. And she was drunk and she told me, "You're the reason why my father's dead." And I'm like, "How can you say that in front of my kids?" She goes, "Your kids know." I'm like, "So what, does that make me a monster?"
Now
She's like, you might go to hell for it. She goes, and I was so glad when your mom died. I could have choked her.
Harsh words.
And that was day 3 into a 10-day visit. She didn't remember she said that to me. The next day, and that's the thing too, like my family's full of alcoholics, addicts. And when someone blacks out like that, you can't reprimand them or like argue a fact because they don't remember nothing. So I changed like the way that my wall was up. And she's like, Dorothy, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what's wrong with me? What? I'm nowhere near perfect, but you aren't either. And she's like, but where's that coming from? And I'm like, I'll spare you. Because I'm sure that would make her feel like crap. And it's okay because I could take the burden and accept it. Because that's what my life has been like.
Now you mentioned you were married. How did you meet your husband?
In the dope game. I was like at the pinnacle of, I was on my 3rd year of smoking crack. And I had already learned all the ropes. I was writing a book already. And I had told myself I didn't want to have a relationship with anybody because I had already had like a failed relationship with the father of my girls. I already had my girls. And I was in a domestic violent relationship with this person. And I really cared for him. And I didn't even know what love was. Like, and I said, I'm not dealing with no men. And out of the blue, I met him. And he caught my mind. We were saying love at first sight, love at first thought. I was intrigued by him. And he was just like an original, unique person. He kind of reminded me of myself, but not like that, like on a common ground. It's just like, I knew I was unique and I couldn't be with somebody mediocre. I had to be with somebody like supreme, and that was him. And he was 25 years older than me. I was 24 and he was 48. But we both felt that zing, both of us. And we got along right away. We trusted each other right away. Like, he never knew anybody like me. I never knew anybody like him. And I don't know that I was, they say when you look for a mate or a partner, that it's someone very similar to your parents, which I read that in psychology. And maybe I was looking for a father figure. I don't know, but he protected me. He made me feel safe. He made me feel loved. He made me feel important. I was prioritized. I'd never been like that in my life for anyone. And he was the type of person that was in the game, like, he wasn't stopping for nobody, and he was a player. Like, he was juggling women. And he got rid of all that for me, which I felt like, wow, to give up that life, I must be special. I gave him his first child at 48. My son is 18 today. And he was very, very proud of his son. But not only that, he raised my daughters. And my daughters, on an instant, I didn't let him meet them until a year later. I didn't even tell him about them until 6 months in. Till I got pregnant with my son. He didn't know that I had daughters. And he was like, how could you have that whole life and not tell me nothing? I'm like, because I'm private. But not only that, I don't disclose everything because I want to know what I'm working with. Especially a man and dealing with girls. I wasn't trying to set my kids up like the way I was set up in any form or fashion. But when they met him, it was an instant. They called him dad. He had a special relationship with both of them. He taught my oldest how to swim, how to play football. He used to paint her nails. He used to buy her all the dresses that she wanted for whatever dance or whatever she wanted to do. He supported her 150%. And my middle child was my hellraiser. That's my twin. That's my gangster. But boy, did she give me a run for my money. Everything I ever did as a child, I paid for it 100-fold with her. And there was nothing you could tell him about her that would make him turn his face. He always would talk to her, would tell me to relax. He's got this. And I would get so boiled up. And he was just such a patient person. Like, he was such a positive influence. And I see it in his son. His son is a mirror image of him in that way, like very studious, with a gentleman demeanor. He rolled out the red carpet for his daughters. And his son, my kids live together. They live together in an apartment that my middle child got for them. And he's their dad.
Mm.
And he's the youngest one. But he makes sure that his sisters get the utmost respect. And he makes sure that no one does anything otherwise.
Now you speak to your about your husband as he's in the past tense.
He is.
Okay.
He passed away and he has not left me. He had a bout of cancer. He had non-Hodgkin's diffused large B cell lymphoma, which is like 1 in 180,000 people. And it took 4 hospitals to diagnose him because he didn't have health insurance. It was very mean on the health system's part. But he was diagnosed November of 2018, and he was already in remission of October 2019. But the chemo and the radiation killed his liver and his kidneys. So he died slow. On his last 6 months, he knew who I was. He didn't want a caregiver. So it was like all a game. It was so weird. My daughters couldn't be around him because he was very mad for being sick and he knew he was dying. And he was like Bionic Man. He got read his rights twice before facing this. He got shot with a 357 in his stomach, and he held his intestines with a newspaper and made it to the hospital.
Wow.
He got sepsis at one point, and he wasn't able to walk, and his spine was curved. And they read his rights to him because he was like 50. He would go like this to his hair, and his scalp would come off. His hair, his scalp, his skin would come off. But he made it through those 2 episodes to get to us. And he was a really strong man. He would work out every day. People would compare him to Guile from Street Fighter. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
But he was built like a beast. And people thought that he was from the military. And he wasn't. He was not patriotic at all. His father was in the army and lost both his legs. And his brother was a nurse in the army. And he lost his marbles. So he really wasn't a supporter of the military. But people thought that he was in the military. And it was funny because he looked like it. He changed completely for us. 100% he changed. We gave him life, and he told us, he's like, look, I was running towards death. I didn't care until I met you and got my family. And everybody that knew him prior to me saw it and would always commend me. And I'm like, I can't take credit for that. He's doing the footwork. They're like, nah, but you're the influence.
Mm. So you gave him new life.
I gave him a second chance at the halfway mark of his life. And he lived 16 more years. He died when my son was 16.
Sorry to hear that.
So my son had to be a man. And that was one thing I was like really sad for my kids, that they lost their dad, because I know what it was to not have a dad.
Mm.
But he did a really good job. He was exemplary and not cookie cutter. We didn't do it like the parenting manual. We did it our way. I was a disciplinarian and he was the fun guy. He called me the warden. I just didn't want my kids to be set up for failure. And I think I did pretty good. They all graduated high school. They're all entrepreneurs.
That's good.
I told them not to work for corporate America. Be your own boss. And they're doing it. All three of them are doing it. And they're living independently without me. I gave them all the tools to live in this world. And I always told them, death is promised to all of us. We just don't know when. So you have to live every day to the fullest, because it's a gift. You have to be in the present. Yesterday's gone. Forget about it. Tomorrow's not here yet. Be here today. And they do.
Strong words.
They are content with what they were given. And they weren't given an easy life either.
Now, you stated that you had an addiction to crack cocaine.
I do.
Are you still currently using?
Yes. Yes. There's some people that are recreational. I'm a functional user. I live with a debilitating disease called MS, multiple sclerosis.
Mm-hmm.
I also have another one called fibromyalgia. And these are like diseases that progress, and they're affecting my bones, my muscles. And when I don't smoke, my body locks up. My legs are numb. My hands don't work. But when I smoke, everything works. And as soon as I start unfolding, that's the term I use. My hands start to, and then my feet start to drag. Then my ribs start to hug. My left front rib, my back right rib, they hug my organs. It's called rib hug. It's an actual thing that happens with multiple sclerosis, and I didn't know, and it's been happening all my life. But once I found out about like painkillers and medicinals that can attribute to numbing, crack was my best friend. Is my best friend.
Mm.
And
now I'm sure there's
it alleviates everything. Like I couldn't even be talking to you, and I'm epileptic too. So when I'm not smoking, I have seizures back to back.
Have you tried any legal drugs?
Yes.
Like prescription drugs?
Yeah, I was on Percocets from 2014 to 2024. And at the end of my use of Percocets, and I was in pain management. This is something that in Miami-Dade County, under the age of 45, I was 1 of 19.
Wow.
And to know that statistic, I was like, wow, man, I graduated. But they wanted me to take 4 Percocets a day. And I said, I can't do that, man. So I would take 2 a day and I would break them in half. But I would take them every 6 hours. So 6 times 4 is 24 hours. But once that starts leaving my body, the withdrawal, wow, whoa, what? I couldn't even, I start crawling out of my skin. I'm talking about literally, like, I feel like my bones are coming out. Like adamantium, like with Wolverine. I don't know if you know about
X-Men.
Literally, like, and I become a beast, and I didn't like it. And I'd be like, at the probably like 5.5 hour mark, 5 hours even sometimes, I'm ready to find that other half of a pill. And they would give me 120 pills a month. They wanted me to become addicted. And at the end of my use, I was chewing them. I was like, and it tastes like crap. But I'm like, this is the fastest way it's gonna get in me. Sublingually. I chew it and put it under my tongue. so it could penetrate. And it just wasn't working. I stopped smoking crack for a long period. I stopped smoking crack for about 19 years.
Wow.
I started smoking again last year. I couldn't get to my pain management. That was number one. Because I moved from the area that I was in. That's when I moved over here in August. The last time I went to pain management was in September. And I didn't have a car. It was in Miami Lakes. And I said, something got to give. And the guy that I was with was using. And I would watch him and I wouldn't even get tempted. But I would smell it and I'd be like, oh, man. I remember that smell. And then I see how he would look and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to try because I already know what happens when that book opens. But there was one day I found something, I put all the tools together, I did it. I said, why did I wait? The relief. I said, why did I do that to myself? Why? Because it's considered a drug, it's illegal. You know, I wanted to be present for my children. But when I told them that I was smoking again, they were like, Mom, you're in your element, it's all good, we don't judge you. We could see that you're happy. And that was like very rewarding, believe it or not, the support.
To know that your family was there for you.
Because I said, man, I'm kind of scared to say something just because of like shame, stigma. But they were very supportive. And that's all I needed to make it okay. And as far as I'm concerned, I earned my stripes. I raised my kids. I did my due diligence. That's my time to be free of pain. I've been living with pain all my life. Mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain. And this does a thing where it sweeps it. Says, yeah, it's there, it happened, but it's all right. It's not taking over me so much.
Now, what's your current living situation right now?
So currently, I'm unemployed. I'm fighting disability against Social Security. I've been fighting since 2019. I'm on my third appeal, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow I have an appointment with the last doctor so that the Social Security determination can make their decision to see whether I'm disabled. And I'll get all that back pay, and I'll be able to live comfortably. But right now, today, I am the most broke I've ever been. And I had a career as a dental assistant for 15 years. I also got my license as an esthetician, full specialist. I did that for my own common knowledge because my skin has its defects. And I wanted to learn how to take care of my skin. But I don't work in any of that. Today, where I live, I consider myself a groundskeeper. I maintain their yard. I take care of the dogs. I do a little bit of housekeeping when need be. But I'm very thankful for them because they don't have to even like have me in their lives, and they do. And I'm there with them because of the person I was dating. He's a twin, and it's his twin brother. And I'm not dating him no more. But I'm living on their property in the efficiency, and I pay rent by labor.
Okay.
So I'm not homeless. But once I get this money, I'm going to get myself out of their hair. They've been doing a lot for me. They've been very generous and very supportive. And to support my habit, I make more money in a day than what I would in a week. Yeah. So.
What do you do as far as mental therapy? How do you clear your mind?
I talk, I read, I exercise every day. I stretch, I do yoga. I get outside, I sweat. I'm just me. Like, if anybody needs a hand and I can do it, I do it. Anything needs to be fixed, I fix it. Any problem needs to be solved, I solve it. I always have a solution for everything. And that's what keeps me therapeutically inclined.
What are your plans for the future?
My plans for the future are to retire and create an oasis and an environment for me that's conducive to me. I want to renovate a van and travel the whole United States, and maybe even crossing to Central America and go down to South America. But I want to travel. I want to do my art. I want to play my instruments. I'm a self-taught instrument player. I like playing the drums, the keyboard, violin, the guitar.
Okay.
I love music, all genres. My favorite is hip hop, but I love everything. I love Beethoven, Mozart. I like the 60s, 70s, 80s freestyle, and more than anything, the Generation X hip hop, which is like Tupac, Biggie, Bone Thugs. And now I'm into Kendrick Lamar. He's like a new artist that I've been exposed to. Pop Smoke. Um, Music is one of my stress relievers, but playing instruments is even more of a stress reliever.
Mm-hmm.
And getting into art, like just anything. Like I just painted some shoes for the guy that I live in his property. They're Hey Dude. I never heard of that brand, but he got them all white, and he made me paint them in dolphin colors, opposing colors. One side was like the blue with the orange, and then the other side was orange with blue. And it came out nice. I didn't even take a picture. I'm not really boastful about those things. I kind of do those things out of love, and that's for you.
Mm-hmm.
I made him a jacket with patches that he's been collecting over 25 years because he's in the military. And I put it on a jean jacket, and I like arranged it in a way that he could represent them. And he had been collecting these patches. So I do like art in different ways, but I like building with my hands. I like fixing things. I don't know. I'm just into everything. I like doing cars. I know I can be a mechanic if I wanted to, but I like doing auto body. I like renovating the house, demolition, doing gardening, painting, coloring, drawing. I like writing, singing. I don't know how to sing, but I like to sing. I like dancing. I don't know how to dance. I don't got no coordination, but I like to express myself in an artistic manner. That's the best way I can say it.
I want to take a minute and congratulate you on that self-taught music, because I used to have a music teacher, and even with a teacher, it's hard. I can imagine doing it by yourself. That must have been tough.
No, but I know note. Like I know melody.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know.
You have an ear for music.
Huh?
You have an ear for it.
Yeah. I love it.
That definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I'll be hearing a song and I'm like, and I'm like playing drums, air drums, or like even singing. I know what note they're singing on. I don't know how I know, but I do.
You might just be a natural.
Perhaps if I could be a one man band, like really attached to drums and all that crazy. I've always like said I'm gonna put that all together and see what I could do with it.
Sounds
Just for
good.
fun.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like that. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
I just want to say things that happen in life happen because they do. I don't think anything's coincidental. And I think for whatever you go through, let it be a stepping stone to the pinnacle of you. Let it build you up. Use whatever is negative or positive and let it shine your light. Because we all have that light in us. And if you can give back, give back. We all have purpose. And our purpose is not for us, it's for others. It's God's work. Because it'd be selfish to be here just for us. So I think, like, raising children, just being a supportive friend, giving love is one of the utmost rewarding things I think you can do for yourself.
That's true.
And to love yourself. Because nobody's going to love you like you love you. So if you love yourself.
Definitely.
Treat yourself better than you would treat anybody else. Be your own best friend. Give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulate yourself. Tell yourself you're the bomb.com. Like my kids would say. And know it. Believe it. Motivate yourself because no one's going to motivate you. Kick yourself in the ass. Because no one's going to push you to be the better you and try to be better than you were yesterday. And you'll be a winner because winners never lose and losers never win.
That reminds me of a famous quote from Bruce Lee. He said, the only person you have to be better than It's the person you were yesterday.
And another thing he said, catch a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man a fish, feed him for a lifetime.
Mm.
I love Bruce Lee.
Well said. Well said.
So I
Okay.
try to teach. Because I say, if I have to do it for you, I don't even know that. I'm going to teach you how to put that cap on.
Mm.
Do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I do it for you,
You won't learn. That's true. Well said. Okay. Lo, it was a pleasure talking to you today.
thank you for hearing my story. I'm sorry if it had a side effect, but it's real.
No, no need to apologize. It was a pleasure listening to you.
Thank you for listening to me.
You're welcome.
And I hope that this gives you guys hope and light.
I wish you the best in the future. And I
Thanks.
hope we can do a part 2 and you have some better uplifting
I will. I will
stories to
definitely
tell
come
us.
back.
Okay.
Let's see after I get this decision determined. My life will be different.
And I hope you do get it. I hope you do get it. You definitely deserve that disability.
I think I deserve that relief too.
Definitely. I'll check in on you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Thank you.